Welcome to Hear From Where, a podcast about the journeys that shape us. I'm your host, Chef Andrew Garrett, and each week I'll sit down with incredible individuals who've carved their own paths in health, nutrition, entrepreneurship, sports, and beyond. This is where we dive deep into the stories of determination, resilience, and passion, the moments that brought them here, from where they started. Whether you're looking for inspiration, a spark to start your own journey, or just love hearing amazing stories, then you're in the right place. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's explore what it really takes to follow your dreams. Hello and welcome to Hear From Where. I am your host, Chef Andrew Garrett, and I am joined today by a good friend of mine, a colleague, Chef Marcus Griffin out of Seattle, Washington. Uh, round of applause, please. Round of applause, please. Everybody, I'm so glad you're here. Marcus, thank you so much for joining me today. For everybody that doesn't know already, Chef Marcus and I go way back. I just realized it's been 11. I think it's actually 12 years because I think it was the year before
Probably
that.
12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's 12 years. I found a corrective action form
Yeah.
that I had issued to Chef Marcus in his younger days. You know, he was young, and I was, the old crusty old chef, and
I had a
but
year
that's how.
under my belt. I got
Yeah,
comfortable.
that's how Marcus and I got to know each other. We actually were working together at Dick's Kitchen up on Northwest 21st here in Portland, Oregon, and we quickly realized that we get along really well. We cook really well together. So I'm really excited because Chef, you have a fantastic story. I think that your story is one that uh, that's similar to mine, and I'm excited to get into it and dive a little bit deeper into what I don't know about you. I'm going to try not to ask too many like really personal questions, but you know me, I'm going to ask something that's inappropriate, and
Yeah.
you'll laugh and smile and answer. So, um,
Might get a little dicey.
yeah, I hope so. But that's good though.
Mhm.
That's what makes us. That's what makes us us. So, Chef Marcus, where are you from? What's your story? Let's hear. It. Let's hear. It. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in a town called Manhattan, and that's in Kansas, not New York.
Mm,
Small town called Manhattan, actually called the Little Apple, if
the
uh
Little Apple.
if I may. Um, yeah, so I grew up there. It's a small college town. So if you could imagine, if you have a big D1 college, but the actual population of the city is like 60,000. So there's almost as much students as there is actual residents when school's
Huh.
in. So super big party college town. And yeah, that's kind of molded me to the person I am today. No, no, I did a lot of partying back then,
Just the
but
partying just the
yeah,
partying aspect.
just the party inside. But yeah, I loved it there. I love the small town vibe. And we did a lot of traveling though, because my family's not originally from there. They're all from Georgia, and so we would travel back to Georgia for the summers. Mostly, we would be there for about 2 months every year till I was in, I would say, middle school, and really got involved in different extracurricular activities. So, and just like building those friends up. So Georgia was a big part of my life too, and that's probably where a lot of my love for food came.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. And so, when you say extracurriculars, talk to me through extracurriculars. What were extracurriculars for you?
Yeah. So mostly sports. Pretty much dabbled in everything at that age where you could join team sports. So, you know, we can go from soccer to baseball to football. I mean, don't laugh, a little karate, all
Hey,
that. Yeah.
hey, karate is cool now. karate is cool now.
Yeah, it's
Like,
cool now. It's cool
yeah,
now.
when we were growing up, it was a little bit like, oh, the weird kids could go to
Right.
karate class, which turns
Yeah,
out now those kids could have kicked our ass, and
yeah,
we didn't know
yeah,
it. We
yeah.
had we had no
They're actually
clue.
practicing hard. Like
Yeah,
they
like we
they
had
had
no
bullies
clue.
to beat up. So, things like that where I'm traveling a lot and then summers are getting taken over by baseball or just, just trying to hang out with the friend group. And yeah, I don't want to go to Georgia. I don't want to do that this year. I got a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, just and football was my main sport. So there's always, centers packed.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year, especially like if you're playing baseball and you're also like really focusing on football,
Yeah.
you really like you are 100% in all summer long.
Oh yeah.
So like for you, talk to me about the fitness that you started learning. Why was fitness important to you uh in high school? Like, because I know from our conversations that you actually really cared about your performance on the field. Like, you wanted to be the best that you could be, and so
Yeah.
you spent a lot of time like learning about fitness and weightlifting. What was that like for you? Like, what kind of geared
So
you to that?
my route to that is a little different than the common person. Um, I would say, I started at that age. I was kind of like a man child.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
okay.
a lot different than my peers. A lot just stronger, bigger, and I didn't take a lot of that into consideration. And other than genetics, it might have probably had a lot to do with what I was eating. So, um, being being from Georgia and big family, we cook a lot of food, a lot, and everyone's a good home cook. There's like not one bad one. All the uncles and aunties. So mm, she's she's the type that would put a meal on the table every night, and so I was eating real good too, and a lot of it. So I was a big boy, and it was probably my junior, senior years, kind of when I got in a little bit more into nutrition when people kind of started catching up, kind of. Um, it was like, okay, maybe I should, I want to take this to the next level. Maybe I should start looking into these things and making it more a part of my life and seeing where I can take the nutrition and athleticism as a combo. And then, started focusing more on football too instead of doing all the other sports. So that's kind of how I got to it. And it's just a deep dive. In high school, you're not learning nutrition in school, so it was just like dive
Right,
into
because
some
I
books,
yeah,
dive
I
into
mean,
the internet, and
it's
start figuring out from there.
it wasn't really. I mean, you're younger than I am, but I think that we still kind of come from the same generation of coaches and information that was available at the time, like
Uh,
pre internet, right? I call it pre Facebook. Really is what it was, and so we had to dig. Like, you had to go to a library to get a book, and you had to like
yeah,
have the right magazines and hope that maybe like men's health or bodybuilding had something that was
yeah. So I had all the magazines, man.
yeah, and
I had all the
then
magazines, muscle fitness, all that shit.
yeah, see, that's where it's at too. Is like we had to like really dig for stuff. Whereas today, I
Uh,
feel like kids today just have it easy. Like, they just type in a couple words in the Google Docs, and there it is. You know,
it's so easy to get the information now, but also so flooded with bullshit.
right? Well, that's the thing too, right? And
Yeah,
and so I think that people from our generation, like, I think that we can see the nonsense, and I think that's what
yeah.
makes us pretty good at what we do. So tell the audience what you do today. Like, why do I keep talking about this? Like, tell us what you do today. What is
Yeah.
your
So
primary?
so today, especially being a chef, you kind of got to find your job in those anyway. But I've always been into so many sports and athletic things. I kind of stayed in that realm. So right now, I'm doing meal prep, and it consists of so many different types of diets or It's mostly based on macros. So we probably get into that soon, but macros is kind of what I base the meal prep off of as a broad spectrum. I'm also private chef. Um, so I do that at UW, University of Washington, and just for a few days in Metro Seattle. Got tons of clients that I work with, and everyone's different. It keeps it fun and interesting. I'm cooking all different types of cuisines, and then working at UW gives me the opportunity to have summers off. Um, and then I do a lot of catering at that time, which is probably one of my favorites. Meal prep, I wouldn't put it like in a category of favorite or not. It's just kind of what I do anyway. So, but catering is exciting. Yeah, it keeps me going.
The thing that's so funny about you saying that you don't enjoy doing the meal prep is like I'm the same way, but
Yeah,
it's something that you specifically are very good at it.
yeah, I'm gonna do it
Like
anyway.
like you don't. I feel like watching you and seeing how you work, you know what a portion size is, what the macros are. Like me, I've got to weigh everything.
You still answer?
Oh man, I gotta weigh everything. I've got to put it in the computer and then be like, how many grams of protein is this? And it's like, I watched you just kind of hammer these things out, and I'm like, there's no way that's accurate. And then I look, I'm like, it's spot on.
No, we're
Okay,
solid. We're solid.
okay. Like but it is like it's something that you're very good at, but you don't enjoy. And I feel the same way. It's not something I'm
Mhm.
very good at. So like, why meal prep? Why macros? Like, what was it that drove you into that? Because I know that the industry was available and there was something happening. Like when you left Portland, it was kind of a
So
direction you were going. But
yeah, so that's when I was in Portland was when I really came up with the idea to do meal prep. As it was kind of personal and just what I seen going on. I was involved in the gym a lot during that time, especially right after college, still feeling that itch to get in the gym, lift, work out every day. And I was just looking at myself and looking at people like, man, like these people should be healthier. And I know they want to be because they're here. Um, and I just know they just have no clue what to eat because that's all they're working out. I see them all the time, but their body's not changing. I'm like, I think there's something here. I already want to help, but yeah, got to make that money too. So I'm like, there's got to be a business here somewhere. That's always our first thought. It's like, okay, we can make money on this for sure. So um, that's what really got me going with it. And I started it in Portland, but I had uh, being an athlete, like, oh, I should do this for athletes because that's going to be more my style of cooking. Um, where someone can one of the most important things for an athlete is calories. So I don't necessarily have to pay all the way attention to the nutrition. I can have some fun with this too. So I'm like, okay, let me gear it towards athletes. We'll put it on where we have what? Just one professional team? Well, we got soccer
well,
now.
no, yeah, I mean we've got the Blazers,
Mhm.
we have the Thorns, the women's soccer,
Okay.
and then we have the men's soccer team.
Yeah,
What are they
men's
called?
soccer. So
Timbers.
we got Timbers.
Yeah, so three.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we got three.
So my clientele, um, and trying to get into that, you just got the two teams. I don't know how I'm gonna get to them. But this is my thought. Like, I want to cook for athletes. I'm an athlete. I know we need a lot of food. We can still eat fun food, but still get those ma- macronutrients and micronutrients in there to perform better and get the results we want. But then I gotta itch in the game. Um, one of actually my best friend, I'll just say, we known each other since we were 2 years old. Um, he's a professional football player. So he calls me one day. He played for San Francisco. He calls me one day and he's just telling me, he's like, man, I want you to come to all my games this year. I usually go to about three. San Francisco sounds it's a good flight. I'm from the West Coast. I usually go to about three games a year. He's like, "Nah, man, you should come to all my games this year." And I'm like, "Sure, bro. Like, yeah, how's that gonna happen?" And so he's like, "Actually, I meant to tell you, I just got signed with Seattle Seahawks." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I could definitely make it to a lot of games." Then he starts asking me about nutrition. He knows what I do for a career, and I'm giving him the game. And he's like, "Well, do you know anyone in Seattle?" Because he's at that point in his career. He's getting a little older. He definitely needs to dial in hard to keep going. He wants to play for a few more years. And I'm like, yeah, I could look into my black book and see, I know chefs everywhere, but I don't know if they would want to do anything for you. So let me see what's up. And then he just goes, "Well, would you want to do it?" And I say, "Well, I was just waiting for you to ask, you fucking asshole. How are you gonna call me on every game and then try to ask me about other chefs when I'm the guy?" Okay, so I was like, "Duh, yeah. What needs to happen? When are you gonna be there? What do we need to do?" And it's, an opportunity to hang out with my best friend as well. Who it's hard to see. Football is a grueling sport. You're always working, so we'd hang out like once a year. Actually hang out and not like see him on the field and be like, "Hey, buddy, I see
Hey,
you.
hey.
Good day." And then I'm flying back to wherever I'm at, and yeah, that was like our interactions for years. So I'm like, hell yeah. So I get up here, and so now I have to end with the athletes. I start with him, and he's a guy. He'll promote me. He's in there, kind of pushing it for me, and I acquire a couple more athletes just to try it out, and then it sticks. So now I got them on my own. I got to weigh in. I'm able to go to the practice facilities, the BMAC, and if you just act like you know what you're doing, you can get into anything. Like, no one ever asked me any questions. No one knew who I was at the security, the front desk. I just had a bag in my hand with food in it that gets you in the door. You bring food, it'll get you into anything. And I'm like, "This is for such and such." And they're like, "Cool, you're good." I got past every piece of security. So I was like, huh, maybe this is how I can market myself. Um, I mean, I started working out. I still had to have a part-time job at the time, and I was building the business and um, just sticking with it. And then the biggest turnaround for me was, like I said, going into the facility and people just started to recognize me. Players coming out. They didn't have a name, but the chef guy was good enough for me. Like, oh yeah, you need food, you got money, you want to pay, and boom, they're like, "You're the chef guy." Well, I wasn't. I could have been somebody else, but today I am. Yeah, so that got me. Yeah, that just gave me the chance to talk to a lot of people, and it kept going from there. There's a lot I can tap into on that, like, but yeah, start doing a lot more private chefing as well for athletes. So
Right. And
families coming into town.
as someone who has worked with professional athletes in a similar fashion, it's amazing. Like, it's really hard for folks to, especially athletes, to find someone that has the skill set that you do
Yeah.
and can trust you, right? Because I think that when it comes to private chef work, and this is my experience, is
Uh-huh.
it's hard to find someone that you can trust to come to your house. Like, you're inviting
Yeah.
some stranger into your house to cook your food, and this food, at that level is equally valuable to your career path as
Oh
it
yeah.
is to your just, overall happy to
Uh-huh.
have some food today. Like, this isn't just oh, I'm coming over to cook dinner. Like, this is, I'm coming over and this is going to affect your life.
Well, the
It's
food has to speak most definitely, um, and you kind of build that rapport because you can say as much as you want. No one's gonna take your word for it. They want to see. You gotta come with the action, and so once you get to that point, that's where you really gotta bring it. You can't really you there's really no margin for error at that point
yeah,
because that's your business,
yeah.
and they're gonna spread the word for you to those type of clients. that are gonna book you for the next gig. So, and it comes with a lot of things like, you know, the cleaning, like, which, we're used to cleaning, but, these type of clients, they wanna look and smell like you were never there.
Yeah.
So, like,
Wait,
if you provide that top-notch food, you have a little charisma, a little personality, and just have that aura about you, like, "Oh, like, you can trust me, I'm that guy, I'm gonna take care of you," and just make it feel genuine, which hopefully, it is. That's why it makes it easy. And then clean that shit up. Clean it up nice and make it look great. Like if you see a little speck, like, okay, I'm going to back to wipe that up. Like, okay, I might not hit that at my house, but I'm gonna make sure
right.
that's good. And then they love you.
Yeah, well, again, it's like you're going to someone's house. Like my goal when I step into someone's home is I'm going to leave their kitchen cleaner than I found it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to go crazy and like put away like all kinds of like kids' toys or anything like that.
No, no, no,
But if
no.
there's plates, if there's glasses, if there's cups, I'm going to rinse them. I'm going to wash them. I'm going to make
Oh yeah.
sure that the kitchen's ready to use 100%.
Yeah.
And what I've learned talking and working with the professionals, with anybody as a private chef, like it's amazing how many chefs go into a home and don't do that. Like, they
That's
don't have that
exactly
mentality.
why I said it.
And
I'm like,
I'm
what?
like, "What? Like, how?" That to me is like, that's the first thing, right? Like,
Mhm.
okay, cool. Like, I'm just gonna make sure that I was never here. Like, it doesn't seem that hard to me. But,
No. Your
I
food,
digress.
your food could have been a B,
Yeah.
B minus, B plus, but if you left a met, they're gonna talk about. That's what they're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
talk
all they're
about
gonna
when you
remember.
leave.
Yeah,
They're gonna be
that's
like,
all they're
"Oh
gonna remember.
my god, this fucking kitchen's wrecked. Like, fuck the
Like,
steak." Like,
I don't
like
what in the world
they
happened
can
here? Like,
they can afford to go get whatever you made them. That's why you took the job. So,
yeah.
yeah, you gotta just bring all the other aspects as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, and I mean, and entrepreneurship, in and of itself is a really hard thing to do. I mean, and chef work is a very hard thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do to make a living in, especially in the markets that we live in. It's not, this is not a game where we have these margins that are exponentially greater. We don't have these, 60-70% margins. Like we're
No,
working on razor thin numbers here.
yeah,
And we live in cities that are expensive to live in. So it's not just about, finding clients that can afford to pay us. It's also, I mean, for me, what I've found is that the more food I grow, or the more food
oh
that
yeah,
I catch or I hunt, it allows me to, to have that a little bit more of a cushion
oh,
in that,
for sure. And
you know.
what you're talking about right now, I'm just now getting there with that. Like I've always been, since I moved to Portland. That was probably right when I moved there. That was my second kitchen management job, and just working with P&Ls and numbers and um, learning demand and what sells and what doesn't. It's just like the margins are so tight, but I was able to work that. But now I'm figuring out more avenues like what you said, actually growing your own produce, growing your own herbs, especially because when I go shopping now for herbs, I'm like, what?
They're so trash and they're garbage.
They're
Like, it's not
trash. I'm
even
like,
good.
$5 for weeds?
God.
I'm like,
Well, it's
okay,
like,
I'm growing
yeah,
that now.
my little garden shelf gardens over here. I just wiped out all my herbs and put them in the actual garden outside because
Mhm.
it's season. But like that thing produces a great amount of dill,
Oh, yeah.
cilantro, parsley, and I can just rip it off there. But yeah, you go to the store like
Anytime.
yeah, it's $3 for a bunch of parsley, and then
Right away.
it's just garbage and it's
Yeah,
not
and
like
then you
good.
get to those tight margins, like, every dollar. I won't go into pennies too much, but it does every dollar matters.
Yeah, it does, and I mean, especially when you're providing, a service that we provide. Like we are, we are not the Olive Garden of private chefs here. Like we are a in demand, very high quality,
Oh, yeah.
personal chef experience. It's not well, we're doing, we don't have six clients. We have, small amounts of clients that we are dedicated and committed to.
I
You know,
wish it was that easy.
I know, right? Wouldn't it be like if we could do like I it would drive me crazy to do like 6 different families in a week.
That would just be nuts anyway, but
Oh
yeah,
man,
I
it would
wish
be
it was that
wild.
easy.
So getting back to like growing food, like
Mhm.
growing up for you, being in an area that sounds like it was kind of like is it kind of rural? And I know that your family, like from our
So,
conversations, are great cooks. Like, how much food did y'all grow? A lot of food, or was it just like
we grew a significant amount of a few things. So we ate a lot of that, those few
yeah,
things. So in Kansas, my family, they like to garden. My mom grew up kind of ranch style life, tons of brothers and sisters. They always had huge garden of stuff down in the south there, which you can grow a lot there. Lots of different things. But in Kansas, we got a lot of like zucchini, cucumber, tomatoes, like the normal gardening type stuff. It's very dry there, very dry, and so you got to do a lot of watering. And the heat is insane. So you get enough sunlight in the peak of the summer there, but if you can't maintain the heat, everything's just drying up. So yeah, we just the normal stuff like that. Some spinach. We can keep alive a few like hardy grains that can go into the colder seasons a little bit. And yeah, we ate a lot of that, too. But also growing up in the Midwest with those harsh winters, I did eat a lot of canned vegetables as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
buddy,
I
yeah,
mean that's why
buddy.
I grew up on high sodium canned vegetables. And, yeah, but I ate a lot of vegetables. I don't know if they were good vegetables, but I ate a lot of
But hey,
vegetables.
they were vegetables.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, really, I try not to bag. I try not to go too negatively on like canned vegetables or
Mhm.
frozen vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, are they the best option? No.
Right.
Are they an option? Yes.
Yeah.
And I would like to see us move more into a less commodity style canning. And can
Okay. Yeah.
higher qualities.
Mom did a
Kind
lot
of
of canning. Did a lot of
yeah.
canning too.
It's like my grandparents were the same way. That's how they did canning, they did storing, they grew things like onions and garlic and potatoes, and
Oh, yeah.
that
Onions and
stuff.
potatoes.
Yeah, that stuff would last from the fall all the way to the spring when you're getting out of it. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
we're far removed from that now. Not
oh
us, not the
no,
fam, but, like, just the world in general.
yeah,
I don't
no,
I
it's
could say canning and they might not even know what we're talking about.
no, not even. Well, I mean, there's a whole generation of people growing up that don't know where meat comes from. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, that's another story. So, how do you keep things fresh? How do you keep things exciting? Because for me, I start to get into these like habits of, oh, this is what I have, this is what I have, or this is what I'm growing in my garden, or this is what I had available, and I try not to just stick in one cuisine. But my clients trust me. They're like, yeah, that sounds good. I shoot them a menu the day before,
Uh-huh.
so if there is anything that's like, they can tell
They
me.
don't
But
they
for
don't
the
have
most part,
enough time. No.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
exactly.
you
You
take
keep
it
it
or
tight.
leave it. No, I do the
Yeah,
same thing.
you don't get a choice. Like, what are some of your secrets? Like, what do you do to keep it fresh?
Man, you know, I cook so much. I get a lot of repetition with a lot of different things. So I'm able to switch it up a lot just based on that aspect first off. But I'll admit I will break the pocket a little bit when I'm like, I I need it. I need to do something else. So yeah, I don't have this. I'm gonna go buy it. I'm gonna go buy it, and I'm gonna make something new and exciting just to keep me going. And I'm still gonna make some money,
Yeah,
but I just cut it. I'm gonna cut $100 off, 150 bucks off what I was gonna make just to keep it fresh for myself. But I feel like we're also artists as well. We have to express our art on the plate, and you can do that with what you have. But yeah, there's so much out there in the world. There's so many different cuisines. I'm watching Top Chef every day. I'm like, okay, I need, I need to go get that as well and make that and find a way to like just make it fit. in the budget a little bit. So that's kind of what I do. But I also with the avenues of catering, private chefing, and working at UW, it gives me a chance to cook different things in that aspect too. So that's kind of what keeps me going. If I didn't have the different avenues, I would definitely be burnt out a little bit. And that's kind of what happened with the restaurant industry in general. I was like, I gotta find it. I'm never gonna leave food, but I don't know if the restaurant industry is gonna last forever for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that's a really good point, and I think that the direction that you're going and the food that you make, it's awesome. This is my favorite time of the year because I can start making like really fresh, really bright foods. Like I can
yeah,
start getting some the farmer markets are starting to open up. So you know,
I pop in food.
yeah, and that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, thank goodness! Like, oh, here we go. Like finally, like okay, now I can start getting outside of my smashed sweet potatoes and braised.
Yeah, all the braised meats.
I can only
Yeah,
braise
mushroom
so many.
vegetables. So good.
It
So
is.
good.
It's delicious.
Reduce, and make that dairy and gravy. It's what we want anyway.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine once made fun of me because he called my food brown. He's like, "Oh, you have really good food, but it's all brown." And I'm like, "Shit, you're
Yeah.
right. It is like a lot of."
Skills, Drew.
Well, now I put flowers on things. I put some chive
Wow.
blossoms from the garden on the other day. It made
Yeah.
sense. It was a chive blossom.
Funeral.
Yeah. So tell me
Yeah, on an
put
ass.
yourself. I'm gonna ask you to tell me what your cuisine is. Like, what is Marcus? What is your cuisine? Like, I know what I think of when I think of you, but
Yeah.
what do you say it is?
This might throw you off a little bit, actually.
I'm into it.
Um, what I do mostly, especially when I'm just like getting down and I'm not even thinking. I'm just like, oh, I'm about to go and chef up some stuff. See what we got. It's like a combination of like I'll just call it Southern because there's so many different cuisines of Southern cuisine. But I'm like, if you look at the low country, um, Asian cooking, Creole cooking, and Georgia has its own style too. So those are one of the regions that I've been in and learned how to cook, but also kind of like Southeast Asian.
Oh, okay,
See, I told you it might throw you off a little bit.
okay.
Might throw you off a little bit because I love it. It's it's like what I can just cook this at home. So I'm always trying to learn a dish, and just over 20 years of cooking, just built up so much knowledge and so many dishes that I like to make. But I'm fusing that too. I'm like, well, I'm gonna cook it like I know how to cook it, but I'm gonna add these Asian spices or Asian sauces to that, and yeah, it's kind of a weird blend, but it works. It works,
No, totally. Like
100%.
I love that though because see to me what you're talking about right now, like that's fusion, not this the TV fusion or the magazine fusion. Like
Yeah,
when I think of food and fusion, like it's taking a technique or a method that you've known for your entire life, you've used, and then adding ingredients from a different culture or a different region or a different
yeah,
country, and then creating it, or vice versa, where you're taking these ingredients that you're really familiar with and then trying a different technique. Like that's fusion.
yeah.
Like not just saying, "Oh, I made a demi glace out of kaffir lime leaves and
Right, right.
galangal." And
Yeah,
so this is, and now it's fusion. Like, no, that's not really, just putting a
yeah,
different name on it. It's not really fusion.
yeah. It's just
You know?
yeah, just an ingredient, but there was no technique from that region
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but that's like, I mean, when I when I eat on a regular basis, I'm going and when I like to gorge on a little bit, and then I'm gonna eat some Indian food. I'm gonna eat some Thai food. I'm gonna eat some Vietnamese food.
Hmm.
Um, all those countries from there. I love it all. I'm not a very picky eater. I just like good food. You know, yeah, those Southeast Asian countries have awesome food. If you ever get a chance to visit any of them, eat everything. Uh,
Christina's going next year. She's going next or this year, next year. She's going
oh
next year.
yeah.
She's going to a fitness retreat in Thailand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
kind of jealous. I'm kind of jealous, but I don't. Yeah, I would weigh down her experience because I would just be wanting to eat, and she's like trying to do fitness stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The opposite
So
agenda for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a fun place too. That's a good, they got a good tourist scene,
right.
and they're trying to bring people in and make some money out there. So there's tons of food for people to eat and tons of stuff to do.
Well,
But
of
yeah,
course.
that flavor profile and the
Yeah.
peppers there. I know you pepper guy. Hot sauce. The peppers there have like flavors. They're not just hot. They got some of the hottest peppers, but the flavor of the pepper is just yeah. Because I like both.
Well,
I
that's what
love to eat too.
we were just in Peru, and the ají amarillo pepper,
Uh-huh.
which is originated in Peru, having them down there was like a different level of this flavor profile. Like there's
Hmm.
citrus and there's brightness and there's
Yeah,
some earthy and it bites and oh shoot, it's hot.
it's hot too.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. Like I think the peppers are really underutilized. Tell me, why is food important to you? What is food to you, and why is it important?
And the base core of that is it's what we need. Food is what we need to movement. It's what we need to be human for fuel. And I like to eat, so I like to work out. So it just makes food that even more important. And also, if you work out a lot, you can eat more junk. That's not a good thing to say to a lot of people, but dude, you burn more calories, you can eat more calories.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what those calories come from necessarily. It depends on what you're trying to do with your body. But I love to eat, and I still want to look good. So it was always like, well, if I want to eat this, I'm just going to work out more and put more nutrition in my body. And like I said, once I got into my senior year and going into college, I actually started applying what's in the food and what I'm putting into my body, other than just like I need to eat a lot. But no, but I realized like, okay, that actually is a thing. Like you see bodybuilders, some of them, like especially these ones with YouTube and Instagram or whatever. I'm kind of old with the social media stuff. I don't know, even TikTok was the one I was thinking of, but I was eating the junk food and stuff like that, and you see them in there jacked. You can you can actually do that. You need calories to build muscle. The muscle doesn't know where those calories are coming from, but they're also putting in a crazy amount of work,
Right.
and they're not necessarily getting the vitamins and things that they need. So you see the exterior. You don't see what's going on inside their bodies. And I started to dive into that side. Like, okay, you can get jacked. You can eat whatever you want, but like, are you gonna live long? How's your heart feel? How's your liver? How's your kidneys? The things that actually keep you alive. How are those doing? And then yeah, those are dying. So you're living a fast life. So you gotta really dive deep into the nutrition and see what your body needs. And start, just start reading and diving in from there. And then you figure out what foods to eat. Especially like going from the organic or not organic. That's always a big conversation too.
Oh yeah,
And
like and so what's your take on organic? Here's my take, and let's see where you line up. So my take on organic. So the things that I think that you should really focus in on organic are anything that grows in the ground.
okay,
So carrots, onions, potatoes, garlic,
for sure.
leeks, anything that grows primarily in the ground. Like that's where I think the focus for organic produce.
I never said it that way, but I'm kind of on the same page.
Okay.
My vegetables, and that's it. When I say my vegetables, I cook for people because I'll eat the shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm still gonna eat vegetables, but like I can't always get organic. Um, but for meal prep and stuff like that, um, vegetables, all try to get all organic, all organic. When it comes to the meats, I try as much as I can. But sometimes it's just like, okay, we gotta get this. They don't have exactly what I need. You can't go organic. But one thing I do like to get all organic as well is my eggs.
Eggs.
I
Okay.
think it makes a difference, and I think it makes a difference in the eggs a lot.
Yeah.
And the vegetables are my like two main things.
Okay. Yeah, I got to connect you with one of the ranchers I met this year up in Washington. So what I've been doing is I'm buying whole beef, and
Okay.
I am so I buy whole beef, and I'll like tell some friends of mine like, hey, I'm going to buy some beef. Like, do you want to buy some beef too?
Mhm.
And you're talking about $6.50 a pound on the
Oh yeah.
hoof versus $20 in the store,
Yeah.
and
What
this
do
is grass
throw,
fed, all
throw 'em
natural.
in there. Throw 'em in there for sure,
Yeah, and so
because it won't go to waste
getting back to margins, like talking about margins, is that's one of the ways that I've found it's not always easy for people to go out and just buy a whole cow
and
because
store it. Yeah.
where do you store it? Where do I have people don't have $1,400 to just give to cows. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to find ways to like bring people together. And again, just like the internet, there is so much nonsense out there.
Mhm.
It's hard to get wrapped up in. It's like it's easier when Chef Andrew or Chef Marcus is like, hey, you should eat this beef from this ranch or these chickens from this ranch. Because, again, same thing as like inviting us into your home. Like, you
That-
trust us.
That's what's funny is people trust who they don't know. I guess like your friends could tell you everything. They could be like a nutritionist and just telling you stuff, but you're gonna just listen to this guy, Chef Andrew, Chef
Yeah.
Marcus,
Right? Like,
and tell you what's healthy. Like, I always try to do my own research, and I like to preach what I learn. A lot of people just hear something one time and then like they just keep that in their heads and they have no clue what they're talking about actually. And yeah, I just like to preach what I learn. And if I don't know it, I'm like, I don't know. Let's learn together.
why is it so hard for people to say, I don't know?
I
Have you
don't.
noticed, like,
Mm.
I've been really trying to do the same thing. Like I used to really just I'll try to BS my way through something,
Yeah.
but then you start realizing this is going to come back to bite me at some point. Like
Hmm.
someone's going to ask me. Like my career path is now attached to these clients, and so they're going to remember this at some point and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
remember when you said that broccoli wasn't really green? It's actually blue." And
Yeah.
like,
And then
I mean,
what's your comeback now? Yeah.
uh, uh, but so I've got to. I love like these are some of my favorite things. What's a pet peeve that you have with like where fitness and nutrition crosses over into food? Like, what's one of your pet peeves that you see a bunch of, or people ask you a lot of questions, so you got to debunk the bullshit?
All the fad diets.
Mm.
The fad diets annoy the hell out of me. The, the, they do. Keto, paleo, like they all, no one knows what they are really. First off, they all, they all actually work, but you don't know why they work. You you just, you're just like, oh, I'm a keto now. I'm keto now. What does that? Do you know what that means? They're like, oh, eat, I just eat fats and burn fat. Like that's not necessarily what how that works. So, I don't dive deep. I don't like start these long conversations with people because if it's usually people I'm not trying to talk to anyway. Like, okay, I ran into you at the gym. You fucking, and you want to talk my ears off now. I'm like, no, I'm trying to work out too. But
Yeah.
yeah, but some of the clients I'll inform and and just kind of give them the basis of what they are. Like, any of these can work for you. At the end of the day, you gotta cut you gotta cut more calories, or you gotta cut calories and burn more fat, like, do more exercise. Burn more calories, cut more calories. That's the name of the game, and the reason it works with keto is because what what junk food can you eat on you can't eat cookies. You can't have a lot of sugar. You can't have anything with carbs. A lot of when we eat chips, it's, like, a lot of junk food. Um, Pasta's I wouldn't say pasta's bad, but it's high in carbs, and carbs usually break down into fat. Um, that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're like an athlete and you're expending a lot of energy. Like, give me those carbs. I'm just gonna
Right.
burn them off. I'm just gonna burn them off anyway. And forget to the fat eventually as well. It might take longer, but with keto, most of the time, you're just and want to use weight so fast. Water. You lose a lot of water and salt first. And people are like, "Oh my god, I lost 15 pounds." 10 of it was water.
Yeah.
10 of it was water, but yeah, keep it up.
Yeah.
It's gonna work, and you're gonna burn with it because you're already cutting out so much junk food that you're eating, especially all the processed food here. You're cutting out so much that you're eating less calories, and then you're probably getting less hungry when you want to get a snack, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna smash this bag of chips or something." Like you're grabbing nuts instead now. So it's pretty much like common knowledge. So if you
Yeah.
just think about it, like, "Oh, I knew this already. I just needed someone to tell me what to do."
Right. And
Mhm.
that's all it is. I always crack up because you're spot on with the calories in, calories out, and it's one of the things that I think is the most beneficial piece of any like fitness plan or like goal
Mhm.
to lose weight or gain weight is to track your meals and like track them accurately. And again, getting back to what you do with the meal prep
Mhm.
is you take all the guesswork out of that for people
Easy.
and all they have to do is eat. And I think that that is probably like the second or third top value that you bring beyond how good your food is, like, and how
So
much you actually care. So, like,
so
maybe like,
I'm putting some flavor in that shit,
yeah,
and
well,
that's
yeah,
why people are like, "Okay, I could eat this." I service a lot of just Metro Seattle too, that they don't care about the macros. It comes with it, but they couldn't care less. They're like, "I'm not overeating, and it's delicious. I don't
yeah,
have to do dishes. It's convenient." Like,
hmm,
the convenience is number 1. I can make all the money I wanted off meal prep based on convenience. The fact that and seriously, nobody wants to cook, nobody wants to do dishes, nobody wants to clean, like, and, you know, they're probably busy. Yeah, I get
yeah,
it. We all are. And then secondly, you know, my clientele is gonna be a lot of gyms here in Seattle, so, it's almost a no it could be, like, almost a no-brainer for them, like, at least to try it, and then once they see if it's a lifestyle and it's working, then, I could go in a gym, which this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in the gym and, I'm just gonna give everybody food, and it's gonna have my contact number on it. You ever seen Half Baked? You ever Half Baked?
oh yeah, I remember Half Baked, Dave Chappelle, baby, like that's early Chappelle.
Yeah, Chappelle, I'm just gonna go ahead and Mr. Nice Guy. I'm gonna go in there.
Jim Brewer, yes, that's
I'm
his
just
name.
gonna give everybody the product, and then I'm gonna start floating and getting happy and feeling good and losing weight, and they have no other choice but to call me.
Yeah, oh, I'm gonna call him Mr. Nice Guy. Like,
Yeah, call it Mr. Nice Guy.
yeah, I like this guy. Like, all right. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, we live in the Northwest, so I mean, sprinkling a little bit of the good stuff, extra greens in there could
Oh
potentially.
yeah.
I'm just joking. Don't do that. We don't actually do that, people. I'm not going to edit this podcast.
No, we
I'm not
don't do
gonna
it.
edit. I don't want people to think that we do that. If we
But the
did do that,
greens, not the marijuana greens,
yeah,
but the
yeah,
greens are lovely
spinach
here.
and arugula.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
That's what we
yes.
didn't get into. Like me moving from Kansas to here was definitely a huge wake up.
Oh yeah, in what way?
Just the like farmers markets, fresh produce. Go to a farmers market in Kansas, there's gonna be like 6 beef stands. Like you get some meat. And then the
Yeah,
vegetable stand is gonna be like just this little tiny little table of like all the root vegetables and some you can get some good beets and stuff like that, but you're not gonna get all those leafy greens that we get out here.
really?
No, not a
Okay.
lot. No.
Okay.
Like,
Well, that's shocking to me because I think of like Kansas the same way I do of like a Nebraska, because like Nebraska's right above Kansas, and
right.
that's one of like, and Missouri Valley is right there. Like it's one of the most it. Okay, let me. At one point, okay, before settlers came
Mhm.
west, the Missouri Valley was one of the most fertile places on the
Okay.
planet. And
You got
so
that
it
river right there.
Yeah, well, did you listen to my podcast with Graham Christensen from Nebraska? He's a regenerative farmer in Nebraska.
Okay.
You got to go back and listen to that podcast. Graham is like he's brilliant. But we did so much monocrop and so much degrading of the soil in that region
Okay.
that it's hard to grow other things. So that's interesting to hear your take on that. And like coming west, I'd never really thought of that because again, like I knew you, when you were 2 years in, so
Yeah.
you were, you know, just already dialed in. And okay, but that actually makes more sense why you were so jazzed on everything and
Oh
like
yeah.
really
Yeah.
just dialed.
Yeah.
Okay,
In my case, I'm like, okay, being from Georgia as well, great produce as well. Living in Kansas, I'm looking for that stuff more than the average person is too.
right.
So I'm working with a lot more ingredients than the average person is in that area because my family wants so used to this, like, oh, where can I find this? Where can I find this? And eventually we were able to find most things, but like grocery store, it just doesn't look good. It's like this is doesn't look. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
It just looks a little good. It didn't
Well,
grow
it's
quite.
been on a truck. It's been on a
Yeah,
truck. Well,
exactly. It didn't get that covering as not on the truck as long
right.
here on the West Coast, and also a lot more things grow here in the
Mhm.
season. So we're getting local stuff, yeah,
Yeah.
instead of everything coming from Southern California or
Well, I was
Mexico.
really shocked to learn that Nebraska imports 90% of their produce.
Mhm.
Imports 90% of their produce.
It's crazy.
90%.
Yeah.
That's insane. I had no idea. I had no idea. So I
What's
bet
more stuff?
Kansas is pretty
Yeah.
close.
I mean, it's hard for farmers too. They can
Mhm.
grow more stuff. I don't know if they want to or not, but like, you know, they're not
Well, that's that's
utilizing.
a that's a whole
That's
nother
yeah, it's a
story.
whole nother battle.
So I'm going to ask you because I ask all my chefs, what is American cuisine?
And what brain explosion?
What is American cuisine to you? To you, what is American cuisine?
Man, if we're to just come off the top of my head and answer this, I would say steak, steak and potatoes, man. Like I really can't like actual pinpoint what America. Even being a chef, I can't really pinpoint it because I know a lot of history now. I know a lot of history in the chef world now, and I
You've
know
been
like
learned. You've been learned.
yeah, I've been learning like so many so many different factors. So many people have their influences here. Maybe some people were forcefully bringing their influences here. And and we adapted a lot of those cuisines and, you know, haven't gone further than that in the history. So I'm just like, what? I could even say in my studies of like Native American history, that could be even more American cuisine than I'm saying as far as like steaks go, would be like, what is their cuisine exactly? Like, I don't know a few dishes, but that could be like what American cuisine is in the start, which is crazy. Like, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
Well, it's hard to say, and I mean, and you grew up in a place that is, American cuisine is it's hard to describe
Yeah.
across the board. And you grew up in a place where there's so many different cuisines, and I mean, you already talked about it. Like in the South, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're gonna eat Southern food, so that means you're gonna have a bunch of fried food
Oh, yeah.
and collard greens and
No,
coleslaw and mac and cheese and some barbecue and like
it's
that's
funny.
that's
Yeah.
that's Southern food." Like people don't understand what Southern food really is, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot more to it than just this like base idea. But you mix that and then you add in the French influence in Louisiana
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
that Creole, that kind of like pushes all throughout that entire region. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of people don't realize that the Spanish, the Portuguese, uh, and the French really essentially colonized the southern part of the states, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of that food is resemblance of such, and then you have
And then you
so
mix it
many.
with like West African.
Yep, and you wind up with
And,
some amazing,
and
amazing
then
food.
you got the best food in the United States right there.
Yep, and people don't ever see that because they only, on the West Coast, like, it's only ever popcorn, shrimp, and fucking fried oysters. You
Mhm.
know, it's like
I mean,
no,
oysters
no.
the same. I mean, yeah, if I was based out of the Northwest, I'd be like, oyster, salmon are probably the two most popular things up here, So I'm assuming that you go out here, not necessarily the salmon, but the oysters and mussels and stuff, you can just go to the Hood
Yeah.
Canal and grab them yourself if you want. So I'm sure people have been eating those since the beginning of time.
Well, and that's one thing too, is like I don't think people realize how easy it is to go get food here,
Yeah.
but it comes down to time, and that's why people like yourself and me are so useful to these folks. Is like, we take the time out of it,
You
but
gotta come. You gotta come up here to
I know
Seattle. Come to my
I gotta
crib. I live on the
I know
water, bro.
I
I can
know.
go crabbing, right? I can go crabbing right now.
Why are we? Well, okay, all right. All right. I'm gonna plan it. We're gonna book it
Mhm.
after I get back from Idaho. When I get back from Idaho, I'll be up there, and then we'll do it. And then
Segway, segway.
you're gonna have to come down here and do some stuff with me, and that'll be a
Anytime.
good. That'll be good. Well, I'm coming up in July. July, you've got that big event, so I'm coming up for
Oh yeah,
July.
please.
Yep.
They
So we're
actually
already planning on that.
they're ready.
Yeah. Last question I'm going to ask you
Mhm.
is, what is one dish that you could eat day in and day out and never have to worry about?
Um, I'm gonna give you one. Let's see. It might be. I'm gonna tell you something real funny right now.
Oh
Just
man,
it's
I'm here
it's
for
gonna
it.
it's gonna tie in. I just gotta get it out. So you know my lady, Cassie. I don't know if she can hear you and hear us right now, but I just got a pizza emoji right after you asked that question. That's not it. It's hers. 100%.
Cassie, if you're listening,
Yeah. So she's in here. She's in the building. Shout
she's here.
out. It's I did love pizza, but I would probably say like like Asian style dumpling.
Oh yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
if I get a bag, I love them too. I love to make them from scratch, but then too many people want to eat them. I'm like, no, it
I'm
took too
gonna.
long to make these. But if I get a bag, good sized bag, I'm gonna touch that bag at least twice that in that week, maybe three
Mm,
times. Because okay, I can eat a little snack before dinner. If I do a lot of the cooking at home, so no one knows what I'm doing in the kitchen, and I might just throw a couple on while I'm
yeah,
cooking something
just
else
for
and be like,
snack. Just
yeah, I
just
had an appetizer, but
just
no
needed a little.
appetizers for
Just
anyone
had a,
else today.
yeah, I needed to have a little nibble. I needed to have a
You know,
little
you got
nibble.
the you got the you got the nice donut outside. You can put meat and vegetables in it, and then
Hmm.
dip it.
Yeah.
Toss.
Well, see, yeah, like anything that's dipping, like anything that you
Hey,
could dip
yeah,
in
pretty
sauce.
much anything that's dipping and like has all those components. It could be a freaking burrito.
I
Could
still gotta do
be
that.
Yeah, burrito could be right there with that. Like, okay, if burritos were smaller, I would eat them a lot more. I'd eat a lot more.
Well, the trick to that, Marcus, is working out enough to be able to eat that giant
So
burrito.
when I was in high school, I could eat. You know, being from a small town, like Chipotle was like a thing. It's disgusting now. Sorry, Chipotle. I didn't mean to
That's
say
fine.
that out loud.
I bad mouth fast food on this all the time. I'm just
But
joking.
like, we didn't. All we had was like fast food and corporate restaurants. So we got Chipotle. I could eat. I'd eat two in a day, and it wouldn't affect me at all.
Yeah,
Like I'm practicing in the morning. I'm running around all goddamn day at school, taking any class that I could run around in. Like, oh, we can do this here. Okay, I'm signing up for that. And then I got
right.
practice after school. Like, I'm hungry when I get home, and I just my friend works at Chipotle, by the way, that year or something. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
there you go. Yeah, so
stuff
you're
that.
getting extra. You're getting extra
I'm getting
beef. You're getting extra
extras.
chicken. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're dialed in.
Yeah. Burritos, anything that's packed, rolled, wrapped with meat
Have you
and
ever had
vegetables
Have
inside.
you ever had spam masubi?
Have I had spam musubi?
Look, hey, look, look. I just wanted to make sure I asked a question. That's one of
I
my
got I
favorite.
got like
Like,
10. I'm staring at 10 cans of spam
are
right
you
now.
really?
Yeah.
Someone just told me about this flavor of spam that exists that is like smoked. It's like a smoked spam,
Mm-hmm. They
and
got a
I've been
few
looking
different.
for it. I've been looking
Oh,
for it,
I'll
and
get you some.
all right, you tell me where to get it. Marcus Griffin, chef. Thank you so very much. Where can people find you? Seattle area. I'm going to put all this in the show notes so you don't have to write this
Yeah.
down, folks. But I want you go ahead and say it out loud just in case someone is pretty quick on the phone. Where can people find you? How do they order food with you? What's your process like?
So I'm based out of Seattle. I live in West Seattle. It's a little island. It's connected though. But it's a huge little community. So I service West Seattle a lot. Most of my most of my traffic comes from social media on Instagram, which is also Chef Marcus Seattle. That's also my email. But on that page, you can find a lot of information about me. See all my food, my phone number's right there. So easy to call me. And yeah, a lot of our months over here. As you know, we are our own entities over here. As I would say, like we run the whole business. So word of mouth works for me in the moment, but I definitely want to expand on what I'm doing, and make it bigger. We're both able to employ a lot of friends and other chefs who need to make extra money. So the gigs are there, and yeah, that's that's where you can find most of my stuff. I'm trying to get on some other platforms, but the information will always stay the same.
Yeah, good luck. Good
I
luck.
know.
All right. Well, I'm going to push people there. Folks,
Yeah.
please, when you go to find Marcus, check him out. Follow him on all the socials. Marcus, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate you and love you, my man.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to see you in July. I know it seems like a long ways away, but it'll be a good
It
weekend.
does. Doesn't bother here. I know not exactly alike, but
Well, yeah, it's that January birthday thing.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
No,
right there.
seriously. Love you, man.
All right, tell Cassie I said. Well, Cassie, I know you're listening, so I said
Yeah.
hi.
I think I'm eating pizza tonight, by the way.
Yes, and I want pizza. I wonder if I
Yeah.
could get
I think it's
Christina to
happening.
buy in, and maybe if I say it, pizza loud enough.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Have a great weekend, Marcus, and we'll talk to you here soon.
Yes, man.
Yeah, brother.
Adios.
That's it for this episode of Here From Where. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. A huge thanks to Justin Pitaleski for the music and sound production, and until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep moving forward. All the best, and happy cooking.